like what happens after death. So why not just die? And so I went for I was like, oh, I want to go for a drive, G. And so I was driving this windy ass back road in the country, going like 120. Like I always thought, how do people kill themselves? Because like I would never. And then I experienced that, and I realized how much your mental health can affect the way your brain thinks.
So I'm Caleb, and no one knows who you are. So,
Absolutely not.
so I'm gonna ask your name, what car do you drive, what work do you do? Don't tell me where
Retail.
you work. Yep. And favorite hobby. And last question: have you ever cheated on someone?
Easy.
You got to answer.
Oh, I should like straight away.
Yeah, straight away. Go.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Devold. I work in retail. I already forgot question 3.
Car.
Oh yeah, Toyota Vitz, RS 2004.
Okay. Race spec.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
The exhaust is quite loud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She makes a little bit of noise. Yeah.
She purrs.
Yeah.
And have you ever cheated on someone?
I've never cheated. No.
Ooh, sheesh. Okay. Oh, final question was hobbies.
Hobbies. Honestly, I've been away from home for a long time. So like reading the Bible was one of them over the past few months. But now that I'm at home, I just sit on my computer. Honestly, pretty lame.
You just sit on your computer and
Yeah, I like watch YouTube or game.
so that's your hobby.
I guess so. Yeah.
Sure. So getting into that, why do you want to just do that?
Well, at the moment, it's like I'm trying to find. It's like a big transition period for me after living away from home in a community, and then coming back into living in the real world, I guess.
So for anyone who doesn't know, or me, because to be honest, I've only known you for like a month.
Yeah, if that.
Okay, if that. So sum up what's happened, your journey, if you happen to, like, just make it whatever. Say what you want to. What? No pressure.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll start like at the start of this year. Basically, after high school, life went horrible.
Okay.
Basically got really depressed and got heavily into drugs and stuff.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and then my sister did this school in YWAM called Youth with a Mission. And she came back and she was like, "Bro, you should do it." And I was like, "No, don't want to do that. I'm horrible. God hates me." And then somehow got convinced. Went in, did it. Life changed. It was really epic. Quit smoking weed. Quit vaping. Did that. The first school was 5 months. We just learned a lot about God, and then traveled for 2 months. It was quite a hard school for me because I don't know, a lot was going on. Just dealing with traumas and stuff.
So it's a lot of self-confrontation.
Oh yeah.
Addressing with a lot of stuff that has always been there, but you've actually never addressed.
Yeah.
So you're basically trying to address all this baggage that you've put aside for like multiple years,
Yeah.
and you're addressing this all in a short time frame.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
3 months. And it was quite intense because you go through all of it, and there's a lot of stuff that your mind makes you forget that comes up. Like just working through a bunch of traumas that you didn't even know were there, and then you bring it up and deal with it. And it was quite life changing. A lot of self confidence out of that, and I didn't even realize like how low my self esteem was. It was horrible. Now I'm just like chilling. Afterwards, but yeah, after the 5 month school, I did a 3 months Bible school, read the whole Bible, got historical context behind like the books we were reading, and we read cover to cover. Pretty intense. We did like 3 hours of lectures in the morning, Monday to Friday, and after lectures, we read the Bible for like 3 to 5 hours a day. It was pretty intense, and then we had 8 assignments of homework a week.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it was intense, but it was great. I loved it. Yeah.
So after hearing all that, one thing I am wanting to know is, what do you think actually made you go and take the step in the right direction? Like, hey, I'm actually going to go and do this Bible school. What was the thing which like actually made you go and do it?
Well, I realized like I didn't have the best friends. Like I had one or two really good friends, but I was like, well, one or two, they're not Christian. I wanted to be Christian. Obviously not living as a Christian. Um, and then like the day that made me decide was like I went to this party of one of my sister's friends from the base. Um, and I just saw all these people. Um, that were her friends. As soon as she saw them, she just started glowing like the happiest I've seen her in like over 10 years. And I was like, yo, I want friends like that, bro. And then I was just like, you know what? If I don't get this Sparky job, I'm going to this school. And I didn't get the job, so I went to the school.
And for the best, looking back at it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really hard, but I think I've grown like a lot through it. I feel like I was a naive boy at the start of the year, and I've come out like more mature.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you are who you surround yourself with.
Yes, that's true.
So I remember someone saying, and it's quite a common quote, but you are who you surround yourself with. Like your 5 best friends, you become who they are. So if you're hanging around with drop kicks, you're probably going to be a drop kick.
Yeah.
If you're hanging out with five success, gosh, tired from work. If you hang out with 5 successful people, you'll become the 6th.
Yeah.
If you hang out with 5 losers, you'll become the 6th. So
Makes sense.
you basically addressed, hey, this environment, these people that I'm hanging out with aren't the best people to hang around with.
Yeah.
And not even in like a beefy way, but like, hey, we're just on we're wanting different things in life. And you chose, hey, look, this is where I want to go, this is the direction I want to go, and your direction is completely opposite. So you got to cut ties.
Yeah.
No beef. But
No beef,
like,
it's
you have
fine.
to put yourself first. Otherwise, you're just going to be getting dragged down into something that you don't actually want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And since those schools were like you live in that community and you surround yourself with people with the same goals as you, like it was really easy to get really close with them. In the first week of the first school, you just tell everyone your whole life story, start to finish. And in that, I learned a lot as well because I never really like retraced my whole life in one like sitting. I always thought my life was bog standard, you know, like not no trauma, nothing. But
Yeah.
like my dad passed away when I was 1.
Sheesh, did not know that.
Yeah, and me, my mum, and my sister lived alone for like 4 years after that. So that was like the start of my life. And one of my first memories is like my mum crying behind a closed door, and
Yeah.
like that seriously affected me. I realize like now, but I never thought anything affected me. You know?
So was it more like at the start, unconsciously, this stuff was happening, but you weren't conscious of it? Like, oh, I'm seeing this stuff, but it's actually not affecting me at the moment.
Yeah,
But later on, like when you did this course, you were like, wow, this thing that actually happened actually is affecting me, and I just haven't talked about it before.
yeah. So there were things that like was going on in my life that I didn't realize were abnormal per se. You know, like um, I've I had like abandonment issues, and I didn't think that was like I thought that was normal. You know, I was like, oh, everyone's scared to be alone forever, or you know,
Did you have it in so far as like your dad left you?
yeah. I kind of felt like, oh, my dad just dipped on me.
Wait, did he?
He just
Sorry.
he passed away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't dip.
He didn't dip, but
Yeah.
that's what for me. It's like, oh, he left.
Yeah.
Us. You know.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like he's not present, so he's
Yeah.
left us.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess I could take dipping as I have a dad, but he doesn't want much to do with me because I've got a new family. Which I think would be worse if your dad was still alive and basically neglecting you.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you in that situation, you thought, well, he's not here, he's ditched.
Yeah.
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 So-
That's how it was.
Working through all that, where are you now?
Oh, now I'm just like, I realize because the school is like centered around God, like I realize though my dad's not here, like God is always present and he's like a father figure.
Sure.
and so he's the father figure I never had, really.
He's like the top tier like, father.
Yeah,
Like doesn't matter if you have a like a worldly father, this guy's always gonna be the top.
yeah, and like I believe in eternity, and that's where we'll be eventually with him. So he's like always present, and
100%.
yeah. So like that helped me be like, oh, I'm not abandoned, and I'm not unlovable, and all this other like squishy stuff.
All that squishy stuff you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through. When you have those like dark days where you
Oh
actually
yeah,
when you reflect on, you know, it's so easy to live life and do life and actually not reflect on what's happening
oh yeah,
and just live in the moment and actually not reflect on why you're at the place you're at.
yeah. It's real easy to get carried away by just like every day gone by.
Even like the 9 to 5 like job, it's so easy to jump into a routine where it's just like same thing, different day.
Yeah,
And it's like, do you even have a life? Like, if you understand, becomes so repetitive, it's just kind of you get comfortable with it,
yeah,
and then it's hard for you to reflect and be like, oh, maybe I should push myself and get outside my comfort zone, or maybe I should do this, or maybe I should think about something. Why am I acting like this? You know.
yeah, totally.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like it got quite deep, but
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, you got to be honest.
yeah,
Like stuff happens, and I think you have to. I mean, you don't have to, but to actually like have that story and to be at the other end of it is
oh yeah,
quite good. Because if you were like, my life's a mess and it's still a mess, it'd be like, you know.
yeah. Well, you're not learning from like the horrible stuff, you know.
So for other people out here listening, what's 3 things you've learned through this whole experience that someone could take away in a similar experience, which could be of a positive um, impact on
Like
them?
impact. Yeah, well, to try and make it like, if you're not religious, there are still things that I learned that like really helps out a lot. Like knowing your own worth, you know. Like I figured out, like, you know, everyone has their own worth, right? Base worth, you're born with it. Everyone is worthy of, you know, getting loved and having friends and all that. Um, but you can't just like, though you have that worth, you kind of need to work as well. You can't just be like, oh, I'm worth a little bit of stuff, you know. So that's enough. Like there are still a lot of things you need to work on. Um, but basically, pro tip. Uh,
Pro tip, I love that.
yeah, pro tip.
That's what I say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like look into your the way you act, the way you go through the day. Find out like points that aren't healthy or that are like, I don't know. For example, narcissism. You can really see narcissism in yourself, although it's like it's hard to see because you're narcissistic. But
Yeah.
like it's just having that awareness of
Am I too self-centered? Is everything about me? Am I being selfless instead of selfish?
yeah,
Like, why? Like, maybe I don't have many friends. Maybe I am selfish.
yeah,
Like, as you said, we should all have like the self-love,
yes,
but we also need to be. If we love ourselves, others can love us, and we can love others. But if we truly don't love ourselves, then you can't expect other people to be your friend.
yeah, exactly. And I think being in a place where you are willing to grow and like change for the better of like those around you, because obviously it's important to have yourself in a pretty high place in your life of importance, you know. um like you need to care for yourself first and foremost, because if you don't care for yourself, how are you supposed to care for others?
Same as in a relationship.
Yeah,
If you don't actually love yourself, you might be able to have a relationship for 3 or 6 months, whatever, but in the long term, it's not going to work out if you truly don't love yourself and you truly can't love someone else.
yeah,
And I always thought, like, oh, that's cliche. Like, that sounds like a boy, like a girl thing. Like, that sounds so BS. But, like, when you actually reflect on it, it actually makes a lot of sense.
it's so true. Yeah,
How can you truly love someone if you're, like, watching explicit movies or, like, adult films and stuff like that? And you're talking to other chicks and you're actually interested in them, it's like, I don't think that's love.
yeah.
How can you get to a point where it's like, if you truly love someone, I think you have to sacrifice some stuff?
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. Sacrifice is important.
Because a lot of people say that they love someone and they don't want to sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
Is that truly love?
No,
Yeah, I
it's
don't think
not.
so.
But like, that's actually a good point. Sacrifice is a big thing that I learned over the last school with the Bible school. So I was just like, we've got such a tight schedule, but we live in community, so we want to socialize with people. But like, we had to do lectures for 3 hours, read the Bible for 5 hours, and then also do like homework every week. So one of the things that we had to sacrifice was like socializing with people and dealing with like our commitments first. Um, and like yeah, just focusing on commitment and sacrificing like fun pleasures, I guess you could call it. Is something really good. Discipline is like super important, basically.
I agree. Same with like life in general. You can have motivation,
Yeah.
but if it's not coupled with discipline, it's just not that productive. You can go to the gym for a week, cool, but if you give up after the second week, you lose motivation.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's no good. If you have motivation, you couple it with discipline. You go to the gym for a week. The second week, I don't want to go to the gym, but I'm still gonna go.
Yeah.
That's where you see the growth, the development. Same thing with life and improving yourself.
100%.
Motivation, cool. Discipline, and actually, hey, I'm having a bad day, but I'm still gonna work on myself. That's how you grow.
Oh yeah.
100%,
100%.
1000.
Yeah. Okay. So over the last school, I was probably in the worst place that I've ever been in my life. Like super depressed.
So was this before you went in?
No, so this is the Bible school. So
So-
after the first 5 months.
You were like the most depressed you've ever been.
Yeah. Hey, it's like it's weird, but I was just not in a very good place. I mean, the last few months of the last school was quite tough. Got in a horrible car accident, had to deal with like that trauma.
True. I
Yeah.
remember you saying that.
That was quite a significant event.
So you had that event, and
Yes.
after that event, is that when you were at like the biggest low?
Yeah, a few months after that. Because I was dealing with like recovering from the car accident, and that made my like anxiety at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Got really depressed. And that's when I found out like genetically, depression and anxiety runs in our family. Didn't know until recently, but yeah, it's my whole family has like depression and stuff.
You can break that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
100%.
you believe that? As
Yeah, I
Christian?
believe that. Yeah,
yeah. Generational curse thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And man, I was like, I couldn't go to sleep. I was kind of insomniac a little bit. I was struggling to go to sleep like 2 a.m. even further than that.
Was that because of everything going on?
Yeah,
Was your like brain going on overdrive thinking about everything?
yeah.
Or was it just like I can't sleep and I'm not thinking about anything?
It was more. It was a bit of both actually. A lot of it was because like I just didn't want to go to sleep because that would just mean I'd wake up sooner and have to go through the day again just to go to sleep to do the next day again. Like
Wow.
it was just like even though the days I enjoyed the days and the lectures and the reading, it was just like a every day keep going. That was the thing that was impacting me a lot. Like I didn't want to keep going. That's the point where I was at. But still, every day I'd wake up 10 to 7, 6:50 to like get ready for the day because the day starts at like 6:30 to 7:10 is breakfast.
So how much sleep would you get?
Between like 5 hours, 6 if I'm lucky every night.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
No,
I think ideally it's like 7,
7, 8.
7,
or-
8, eh?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
someone our age, yeah.
So you got in this bad place. When did you start coming up? You hit your all-time low. When did it start going back uphill?
I started going to counseling, because they provided free counseling there, and I was like, oh, epic, let's try this. And he just got me to talk through a bunch of stuff, and I didn't really know how counseling would go, but they're just pretty genius when it comes to talking through
Yeah.
like things you worry about.
I feel like in school everyone would dog and be like laugh about it, take the piss. But in the real world, I can see the utility of just having a chat with someone who can break things down that you haven't thought about.
Yeah, they've got like because they learn how to do this in like university, so they go through lots of teachings about what to pick out, body signs and speech, and like then they see the things that like kind of impact you without you realizing that it impacts you. And then they dig a bit deeper, and then you go, oh, I didn't catch that, you know. And then like through that, they just kind of gave me a method of like what to do next and how to work through that. That's actually how he was like, it's affecting you physically because I was struggling with appetite a lot, losing lots of weight. Um, and so he's like, go to the doctor, bro, get checked up. And so I got on medication, and I trust the medication.
Yeah.
And that is kind of where it started getting better. Um, because it's a genetic thing and it's like a chemical imbalance in my brain. The medication just levels that out a bit. So
Yeah.
the weird random anxiety, it's not there anymore. I can still get anxious when I'm meant to be anxious.
Yeah, I can get anxious too, you know.
Yeah. But like before that, the anxiety was just like as soon as I woke up to when I went to sleep, like just constant anxiety.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just wake up feeling so sad every day, and it was just so hard to keep going every day, even though I did, because that's where the discipline is, you know.
Yeah.
I disciplined myself to get up, get out there, do the work. Um, Even though the other people in my school, like they'd sleep, get late to the class and stuff, and I'd wake up on time, wake them up. They'd both wake up and go straight back to sleep, and I was just like, honestly, it pissed me off for a second because I was just like, every day, like I'm going through the hardest thing in my life, and I'm still getting up, and they're just like, oh, sorry, I stayed up too late on my phone last night, so I'm just really tired. Not an excuse, bro.
Yeah, I definitely think that when you're going through stuff and someone else isn't, it it's hard because their life is fine and you could be going through all this crazy stuff. And for them, it's just like, oh, I'm here because my parents said to come, or like I'm here because like I want to do it, but sometimes I'll sleep in. When you're there at rock bottom, and you're like, okay, I need to get my life sorted. And then when you see other people here taking the piss, you're kind of like, bro, what are you doing here?
Yeah, it was quite like, it was a bit what's the word? Unmotivating or something. I can't remember what the word is. It was kind of just like, why am I putting so much when like the other people in my school aren't even trying as hard? Like, what's the point? Um, but I pushed past that and kept going and realized it's not my responsibility, and I'm gonna work hard as because I committed to this. I'm gonna finish what I committed to. Um, and if they fail, their fault.
It's their
Um,
own prerogative. You've done as much as you can do to be a positive influence and say, hey, look, I'm going through a lot of crap myself, but I'm still going to class. And you, who is perfect, let's just say, it's like you can't even turn up.
yeah, it was. You can't really like, you don't know what's going on in their life. Fair enough.
1,000, 1,000.
Fair enough. But like, I'm still waking you up. I'm taking the responsibility of waking you up. If I wake you up in the morning, just get up. Like, just force yourself out of bed. I was on the top bunk and I jumped down every morning, even though I was tired as hell. Like, I'd still get off the top bunk, go have a shower, get ready for the day, and they'll just snooze through like the whole morning.
Sure. So you've at this all-time low. You went to counseling. When did it start going to like I'm feeling good or better than normal?
Oh, it was a while after that. Um, it was like near the end of the school, where I started feeling better. Um, Me and this girl got really close, talking about dating opportunity in the future. We're just going through some shit at the moment. So my bad, PG. Going through some stuff at the moment.
It's okay.
Uh, so not really yet. I was like, yeah, fair. I need to work out like my health and stuff. That's fine. And then that like during that time, I was already feeling better. And then this girl came. And then it just like, I don't know, life was going good.
focused around her. So even if, let's say, just because she's in the picture and you're not doing much, that energy is all getting channeled towards her,
Yeah.
which means that it's going to hit you hard.
Yeah.
But when you have a lot of other stuff going on, like work, all of this stuff, you kind of realize, wow, it's not actually a big deal.
Yeah, because I'm not like thinking about her all day and just like planning stuff with her anymore. I'm just rather focusing on myself. And I guess like what was I gonna say? I just completely forgot.
So we're talking about this girl
Uh-huh.
who you basically were giving a lot of energy. She got back with her ex. Cool. And then you got a job and you don't really think about it as much. Well, her.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. So basically, now that I'm focusing on getting money and like trying to get in a routine, um, and figuring out like how to budget and use my weekly money properly in order to save and pay for like necessary things. Um, Once I start getting that in order, getting discipline, hitting the gym again, and getting that discipline in my life, um, even working now, like focusing a lot more on myself rather than some chick, you know.
Exactly.
And one thing is like chicks, they do like a disciplined man. Like if you look good and look rich, like have a nice car, means you make money, so you work and you go to the gym. So you're working and gymming, which means you have discipline.
1000.
Yeah, and discipline is a very attractive feature. Um,
Like, I'm thinking about how to word this. The result of discipline is those things. The result of discipline is a good physique.
Yeah.
It is a nice car. It is those things. So girls are attracted to that.
Yeah.
Because they can look at you with a six pack and anyone will think, hey, to get a six pack, you don't just wake up with a six pack. You have to be disciplined, have a disciplined routine, and eat the right food
yes.
to get a six pack.
Yes.
So when it comes down to discipline, you can actually see the results in physical manifestation.
Yes.
Physique, the car you drive, where you live, and who you hang around with.
Yes.
If you meet a girl and you're hanging out with all these drop kicks, she might be like, all good, whatever. But if she's a high value chick, she'll be like, what's this guy doing hanging out with these losers?
Yeah. If she's got her life under control and she knows what she wants, 9 times out of 10, she's gonna be like, listen, bro, either change who you hang out with or like just I'm out of here.
Or she might just not even take you seriously at the start.
Oh yeah.
You meet a high value girl, a lot of them might, first off, meeting them is one thing, but being able to keep them is another, right? So you might be able to meet a girl and then you might find out that you're hanging out with guys that aren't that productive. Some of them will just leave.
Yeah, very true.
But then if you still have this discipline in all these other areas, they might stay. I think the rule of thumb is have discipline, use that throughout your whole life in each component or aspect, like physical physique, finance, all of those things. And a girl will see that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're not disciplined and you're fat and you drive a crap car and you're 25 living with your mum, then it's not going to look that good.
Yeah, like what are you doing with your life? That's basically what it says. Like, what are you doing with your life, bro?
100%. So let's get back to the girl problem. So you were doing really good, and then a girl came in the picture.
Yep.
Have you ever dated a girl before?
No, this is like the closest gotten to dating people, dating someone. This one, like, she was a Christian girl. I understood like what she was going through. I was going through stuff, so I was like, yeah, all good. Let's plan this properly and do it right, you know.
Yep.
The situation is fair. Like, I don't hate on her, you know. but like I'm not gonna blame myself for it. And it's not like I'm just gonna be here, oh well, it wasn't my fault. No, I'm not gonna do anything to work on myself because I'm fine. I'm just gonna use this as like, oh, I had all that energy used on her. Now I can just use it on myself.
You had all this motivation.
Yep.
You used it on her.
Uh-huh.
Now you need to channel that on the gym.
Yep.
Getting the bread.
Yep.
Getting the nice car.
Yep.
Budgeting.
Yeah.
Starting a side hustle.
Yeah, it's not hard.
It's not hard. You just need to spend time focusing on it. Just like how
That's the
you
thing.
said with you were talking about what we're talking about. So we were talking about how you have to spend time and focus on things.
Mhm.
What was it? Oh, like when at the start when you're talking about your story, you had to like actually reflect on all this past stuff.
Yep.
It's kind of like the same idea.
Very much so, yeah.
So you meet this girl, all this energy channeled to her,
Uh-huh.
then you realize, okay, it's not going anywhere. She got back with her ex, right? So she got back with her ex, and we know that is,
Haram!
but instead of being bitter, resentful, and being like, oh, I hate this girl, whatever, more or less you are like, okay, it didn't work out, and I had all this motivation. I'm actually going to channel this motivation for something positive to improve myself and to add value as a man.
Yes. So that's what I'm working on right now. It's been like I said before, the transition period, working from like how to move that motivation from one place to another is getting there.
So how long has it been?
Or like a month and a half.
Oh, so it is quite fresh.
It's fresh, yeah.
Okay, it's fresh.
Yeah.
That's quite fresh.
Fresh as hell. Yeah, no. I honestly thought that like one of my mates at the base honestly thought that I was gonna drive off a cliff or something.
I'm only laughing, and I laughed before, but I just laugh at like how 1,000 you are.
Oh yeah.
You're just 1,000. Like,
Hey bro, I'm honest. I'm quite honest. I'm like no filter, but like because that one friend at base, she saw like and she was there with me going through like the hardest parts. And there was honestly a day where I felt like nothing mattered. God wasn't real. That like if I died then I'd know like what happens after death. So why not just die? And so I went for like I was like, oh, I want to go for a drive, G. And so I was driving this windy ass back road in the country, going like 120 around these tight ass corners. And then I realized, bro, if I drive like this, I'm gonna die. I need to stop. So I went to a bar and had a few beers.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was intense. It was
And
intense.
did you tell this friend?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to go for a drive.
Oh no, I just left. I didn't tell anyone. I just kind of just got up and left.
And did she tell you afterwards?
No, I just was like, oh, I went for a drive. That wasn't smart. That's what I told her when I got back. So she called me like, where are you, bro?
Was this when you were driving?
Nah, this is after I was at the pub. I had one too many to drink, was tipsy. I was sitting in my car, like trying to sober up because I was like, what have I done? And then she called me. She's like, where are you? And I was like, oh, I'm at the bar. And she's like, alone? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, all right, are you safe? And I was like, well, I'm sobering up. We'll be there soon.
She pick you up, or did you
Nah,
just
I
have to
drove
sober
back.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sat in my car for like 2 hours to sober
Yeah.
up. I got like a clear head after driving like a maniac. And, you know, that's when I realized, like, I always thought, how do people kill themselves? Because, like, I would never. And then I experienced that. And I realized how much your mental health can affect the way your brain thinks.
And how irrational you can become, like, under a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea that it could affect you that much.
Yeah.
Until I almost killed myself by driving like an idiot.
Yeah, you could have died.
Coulda.
Like, I've had situations where I've been driving like an idiot, but I've never been in the headspace where it's like, I want to die.
Honestly, I was like, I don't want to die, but I don't care if I do. That's where
Yeah.
I was like, you know, if I do die, then I'll know what happens after death because I don't know,
Yeah.
right? And I was just like, but I don't know anything, but if I die, then I'll know. And if hell is real and I go to hell, so I go to hell. Like,
Yeah,
that's tough.
and
That's
you found
tough.
out.
Yeah, that's tough, but like, I know now, you know? But
What the heck?
yeah, no, it was insane. And like, this girl was there, like, through all of it. My mate at base.
So is she your friend?
She's a friend, yeah.
Okay.
Fully platonic.
What's on it?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how that works, but okay,
She's like a sister
sure.
to me.
I guess, like in the normal world, Christianity aside, guys and girls, I don't really think they can be friends
No, I get that as well.
because most of the time the guy's trying to get in the girl's pants.
Yeah.
But in a Christian circumstance, I can see that it could be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely feels a lot like an older sister.
Yeah.
So I trust her like a sister and love her like a sister.
Yes.
I don't have any, like, I'm not attracted to her at all. But she's like a really close friend.
Yeah.
And I can understand as well that guys and girls, like, it's struggle to be friends platonically because guys are usually just like, they want something out
They
of
want
it.
sex.
Yeah.
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 Like, if you had a girlfriend and she had guy mates,
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I'm not a fan.
Stop the cap.
Yeah.
I pressed the wrong button.
Haram!
Yeah.
That's it.
So basically, 100%. Like, I had been in a situation where she had guy mates, and it didn't work out. You have to give them the ultimatum,
Oh,
the
yeah.
choice. Hey, you can have guy mates. That's okay. Go date them. I'm not gonna take you seriously.
Yeah.
But in the Christian, in the realm you're in, I can understand where it's like, okay, you can have a girl mate.
Yeah.
If it's like, you know, not these guys who are thirsty as.
Yeah, it's fully platonic. Which I think is like a really cool thing to have because it's not common, like nowadays especially, to be able to have like that fully platonic friendship with like the other gender.
Because a lot of the time there's guys in the background, say, as a friend,
Yeah.
and they want to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
You know? That's why, like, if I had a girlfriend and, you know, okay, she's got a guy mate. No, you don't. Like, straight away, the thing is, if she's got a guy mate, cool. Is he talking to her all the time? Okay, that's a red flag. At that point, you got to give them the choice. Do you want to date me? Do you want to date him?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to date you, but I still want to talk to him.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah,
So,
no.
like, you literally have to put it down, draw the line, and be like, hey, you want to date me and you still want to talk to him?
Haram!
We're not doing that, and I'm not going to take you seriously, and just stop giving her attention.
Yeah. That's just like in the Christian realm, like that's a different kind of aspect because morals vary quite a lot between like Christians and non-Christians.
For sure.
Like I believe in wait till marriage for sex, you know?
Sure.
So when I'm going after a girl, I'm not chasing after sex,
For sure.
you know? And especially at the base I was living at, everyone else believed the same thing. So they were there purely to build a relationship as in friendship, you know?
Platonic.
Platonic, yes. There is chance of people being like, okay, I want to pursue you romantically because love is a thing still. And so I also understand that part, like, hey, you're maybe getting a bit too close to this guy. Watch the way you act around him because it doesn't look like you're just friends.
And if you're going to pursue someone, it's in a different way if you're a Christian.
Yeah, well, not necessarily very different. It will just be different in the fact, like, boundaries.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that's a big difference. A lot of today's society is you meet someone, you go on a date a couple of times, or even the first time you meet someone, and you could be getting intimate with them.
Yeah.
Where with Christians, it's like that is
Pretty big step.
that's when you're married.
Yeah. Well, sex is marriage. That's like, I like to think of like when you get married, sex is like a gift like
It's like the prize.
there's the prize. Yeah. That's like the prize of marriage. Oh, finally you get to have sex, bro. So many Christians are like, oh, it's our wedding night. We just got married today, and then they're just like instantly like in the bedroom, bro. It's insane.
It is insane, but a lot of people will be like, well, I'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
And
Understand
when
that
it
as well.
gets to the wedding night, it's like, oh, it's not special.
Yeah.
It's special when you haven't done it or you haven't done it much. When
Yes.
there's like scarcity. But like when you can go and have sex with anyone, that's not special. The connection you have is what makes it special.
Yes. That's very true. And that's another thing, like if you're waiting until you marry someone, like you're going through like this whole relationship, you're going through hardship together, you're like going through so much, and by the time you get married, you really know that you love them, right? And your feelings for them will be so strong that like the sex would just be on another level.
And the relationship's built on love and not lust.
Yes.
Because if it's the other way around, it's very easy to think you're in love, but it's just lust.
Yes.
Like if you meet someone and the first time you meet them, you're getting intimate with them, and then a month down the track or 3 months down the track, oh, I think I love you. Your whole foundation has literally been built on lust.
Yes.
How long is it going to last? It probably isn't going to work out too well.
Yeah.
Where a girl or someone who abstains, guys and girls, there's not that I'm only doing it for intimacy. It's like, hey, I'm doing this because I love you. I don't need this sexual component to actually pursue you. I'm happy to not have that or wait till if we get married, then just jump in and have some fun, but not have a foundation to build a relationship on.
Yeah. And when I hear that, it's like, what are your intentions in this relationship? Like, what are you pursuing? Are you pursuing lust? Are you pursuing love? That's the real.
That's 1000.
Yeah.
And you can almost tell how relationships are going to work out depending on how they approach the initial relationship.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like if it's full of like intimacy and like often, because I mean you can tell some people are super open about like, oh, me and this girl have been dating for 3 weeks, sex every night. Like,
I know someone like that.
yeah,
you?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to say.
Not gonna say,
But yeah.
but yeah. That relationship didn't last, you know, because like they won't see each other for a day, get deprived, sex deprived, get really like struggling, and then that's when they found out like, oh, this is what we want from each other, purely sex. Like they end up, not gonna say who, but they ended up like treating each other horribly because they just used each other for sex, and they
Yep.
realized, oh, that's what I wanted the whole time, just sex.
It wasn't ever healthy.
Yeah.
What they were getting at the start, all good. But when they try to build a relationship off that,
Yeah. It's like, it's known as the honeymoon period. Like the first 3 to 6 months is like
100%.
goes so well. You make each other super giddy and give yourselves butterflies. But then once you get after that period, like honeymoon period, when you start like, oh, this is gonna be forever, and then start getting used to them, that's when you're like, oh, is this like what I want?
And once you start having the trials and tribulations, when you have other girls coming at you, it's like, well, if I only wanted sex, I can get it from other people now.
Yeah.
Whereas if the relationship's built off love, it's like, oh, well, that doesn't really matter. All the temptations start to come. I completely agree. I find the 3 to 6 month period is the honeymoon phase. Also, coming into summer is a big test.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, dating apps go off the rails December to March because everyone wants to have a summer fling.
Oh yeah.
Oh, a relationship's gonna end. Hot girl summer.
I actually hate like that hot girl summer bull.
I hate it. I don't even know what it is. What is it?
Basically, it's just like, from what I understand, the girl's like, oh, it's my hot girl summer. I'm just gonna like have as many flings as I can over the summer.
Haram!
I don't want to commit. Like, I'm just gonna have fun. But it's like, what's your worth with yourself, G?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just gonna give yourself away to as many men as you want, let them use you, and then what are you gonna be left with?
Exactly. Emptiness.
Huh?
Gonna have all this lust, no love, or they're gonna build a relationship off lust, and they might do their hot girl summer, find a guy, do that for 8 months, and repeat.
Awesome. That sounds so fun. Sounds fantastic.
100%. Like, the thing is, that's kind of how it is. That's kind of how society is going.
Yeah.
And let's talk about female promiscuity.
Okay.
So, a girl who's been with lots of dudes versus a girl that's been with not many, what one would you choose? For a long-term relationship that you want to work out, you don't have to worry about cheating and all this other stuff. Because I have heard guys reasoning for this, saying, oh, well, so she's got more experience, so she knows what she wants and she wants me. And I'm like, that is so silly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you are the 21st. Why aren't you going to be the 22nd? One thing goes wrong and you're gone.
Yeah.
Where someone who's not as promiscuous, only had like a couple of partners, let's say, is probably going to be able to build a strong connection with you. And if stuff starts to get tough, they'll be more willing to stay with you and work through it, rather than someone who's just been through guys, left, right, center, and then problem arises and they'll be like, see you later, I don't care, new problem, new dick. Oh, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
My view on that is like the same, basically. Like, the thing is, girls, like, if you're pretty, then you can have sex, like, pretty easily.
Even the average girl can have like unlimited sex.
Yeah, guys are horny, bro.
Guys are horny. So these girls that can have lots of sex, that's one thing. Guys are willing to do that.
Yes.
But guys aren't willing. A high value guy is not willing to settle down with that type of girl.
Yes.
Because he's going to be like, well, I like having fun with her.
Mhm.
Cool. But is she going to be a long-term partner? Can I take her seriously if she's been with this many guys? I'd rather have a girl who hasn't been with many guys, who I can show the world to, who is not being tainted,
Yeah.
let's say.
I also think, like, they have more value over themselves. They're not just going to give themselves away to any guy who comes along. They think, like, look, this is what I'm worth, and if this guy deserves it, then I'll give it to him, you know? But he's just, like, the woman that slept with heaps of guys, she's just super loose, like, oh, any guy. No pun intended. Like, any guy can just, like, have a piece of me, and
Where's the value in that?
yeah.
Because if anyone can get it, it's like there's no value.
Yeah, exactly.
So a Lamborghini has value because it's hard to get,
Exactly.
right? A six-pack has value because it's hard to get. If a girl is just giving herself to any guy, there's not as much value as a girl that isn't.
Yeah.
Would you choose a girl that anyone can get and everyone's had? And I don't mean this in a derogative way to say, like, you're not a good person or whatever. I'm just saying that if there's two girls, most guys, let's be 100%, there's two girls, a girl that anyone can get will just get with any guy, or there's a girl who's really hard to get that hasn't been with many guys, you will feel like it is a lot more rewarding to go for that girl who is very hard to obtain, because you have to work hard and you have to show value to get that type of girl.
Yeah.
Where this other one is, you might be able to get her, but it's like, are you able to keep her?
Probably not.
Exactly. So it's kind of deleting that off. I don't know what that notification was. It's so annoying. That's so dark. So between the two, girls that are not as promiscuous are what guys want.
Yep.
For a long-term relationship.
Exactly.
Some people get salty and we're like, or girls get
Girls
salty.
get salty.
Girls get salty.
Yeah.
And are like, that shouldn't define me. But what I've learned is a past, it defines a girl. Guys look at girls' past.
Yeah.
Girls look at guys' future.
Yes.
We look at who a girl was before. A girl looks at who a guy will become.
Right.
So if you've seen a girl and she's had a promiscuous past, cool. It might be the odd exception where it's like she switched her life around, God encounter type of thing.
Yeah.
All her actions are completely different to the life she used to live. Exceptions to the rules.
Yes.
And exceptions don't disprove the rules. Because we know that can happen. Someone can switch their life around and they can be a new person, new
Yeah.
creation, God, Christianity. But a lot of it is they will put up a facade. Oh, I want to be a better person. I'll be a better person for you. But they don't do it for themselves. They resent you in the end. And they go off the rails more than if you weren't even in the picture.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I think that's important to also see, like, the gaps between partners, I think, is, like, important as well. If they just hop from partner to partner, like, it seems like they're not seeing where the problem lies, if you know what I mean. Like, for example, if a relationship ends, I guess, like, half the time it's the girl's fault, half the time it's the guy's fault, sometimes both, you know?
I think, sorry to interject, I think most of the time it's the girl breaking up with the guy.
That's tough.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of makes sense. You kind of get that?
I get that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's also really hard for them to see that they could have been in the wrong as well. And so if they don't notice what they're doing wrong and they jump from guy to guy and the relationships keep ending, maybe it's not the guy's fault. They don't want to see it. Narcissism. That's just like unhealthy trait, unattractive trait. They put up a facade like, oh, that we care about you, but then you see their narcissism. And then you're like, well, kind of could see it coming, you know? And if you see, like, oh, the gaps between their last partner and the next partner, like, if there's a long gap, maybe what they did trying to work on themselves, like, if they pay attention to growing in themselves, that's an important trait, I think.
1000. Because if you don't have that time to work on yourself and improve yourself, then it's kind of like the same thing's just going to happen.
Yeah.
So I've had an experience, let's say, I don't want to get too personal, even though you've gone like,
Oh, I don't mind.
you've gone like full send, but where you need to like screen the past. It's like, so if it's like she's been in a relationship, I broke up, I've seen like 5 guys in between over like 2 or 3 months. Just looking at that past history, you can basically say there's either a problem with these guys or her.
Yeah, and based on how many guys she's gone through, it's probably her, but
And it's probably her, and there's something probably wrong with her. And that's what you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then you can be the idiot who is like, oh, look, I can try to change her and fix her or help her through all this stuff. But when you're like asking her, hey, like, what happened to the last guy? Oh, it was mutual. Oh, what happened to the guy before then? Oh, like, it was mutual. It just didn't work. It's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like a red flag.
Yeah.
On the get go. From the get go. So definitely for a guy, you have to be conscious of all that stuff happening.
yeah, exactly.
You have to be conscious, like, what is the past? Why has all this bad stuff happened to them? Are they just an unlucky person? Or is it actually them?
Yeah,
And this is applicable to men.
I agree.
If all these relationships I've been in have all been bad and there's always been problems and stuff, is it the girls or is it him?
Yeah, it goes both ways.
100%.
But yeah, going on that point that you said before, like girls do like get salty at the fact that guys would usually go for girls with lower body count. It's like
You said it.
Yeah,
I said it.
I said it because guys have to work to actually get girls. Like girls' standard of guys is quite high. Like you have to be a high value guy in order to get like a lot of girls. That's why another reason why chicks like men who sleep with a lot of people. Like that's just a thing. Like girls can tell if a guy slept with heaps of people, and you notice like, oh, other girls want him, but now I want him. Whereas when guys look at a girl and like, oh, she's got such a high body count, like it must be easy. That's like the assumption you have, and then you just see, oh, there's no, like she doesn't have any worth for herself.
And if you look at her, you see her as even if you want to pursue this girl, you wouldn't want to pursue her in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And then they get upset that it's like, oh, hey, say it's mutual. You say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. She's like, yes. And you say yes. I mean, a month down the line, she's like, oh, I actually want a relationship. For you, you have to be like, hey, look, I can't be in a relationship with you. You're not in the girlfriend category.
Yeah.
That really pisses them off.
It does definitely piss them off because that's like, to them, it looks like you're objectifying them and just using them.
Or you are, well, it's not using because it's mutual.
Yep.
Right? But it's the fact that you are saying that they are not good enough for you.
Yes.
You are literally saying, hey, look, you're good enough to have situation A, which we're having now, but situation B, you can't go to that place. You've already failed the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand like that they get upset about that. But the thing is like you agreed at the start. Like you
For sure.
agreed at the start and you knew what the terms were. And if it's not mutual, just toughen up, G. Honestly. Just get over it. Didn't work out this time.
100%. Wow. That's some pretty good chat.
Yeah.
That's real chat, though, because you got to think that a lot of guys go through that. A lot of guys, like, when you talked about the point, a girl who sees a guy who's got lots of chicks, she wants to have that guy.
Yes.
And it's the opposite almost for a guy looking at a girl. A guy will look at a girl and be like, I hope she hasn't had any guys.
Yeah.
But we don't find that attractive. Where a girl sees a guy who's in demand and she's like, I want him. You said that it's easy for girls to get guys.
Or easier.
It is easier. Like
Yeah.
the average girl on Tinder or on any dating app, they can download the app. Within the day, they can have a link.
Oh yeah.
1,000.
Oh yeah.
Like 1,000. We could literally maybe we should do it sometime. Make an account as a girl and see how many guys will link up.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you're guaranteed, like, if you're semi-decent, like, if you're average, you're probably getting, like,
Yeah.
5 to 10 links in a night. That is, like, celebrity level play for a guy.
Yes.
And getting back to women being fussy, you're 100% right, because when on dating apps, women like 5 to 10% of guys they see.
Yeah.
Men like 50%.
Yeah, I heard that somewhere as well.
Yeah.
Like it's their standards are so high for men. Like you have to be good looking. You have to have a nice car. Oh, another variable, big dick, bro. If you have a big dick, then like that's basically in the bag. But like
But they don't know that until you actually meet up and you actually
yeah, of course.
if you do lay the pipe. But I guess that's one thing you can't change. But like your physique, you can.
Physique you can.
Your financial,
Yeah.
and your status is something you can improve on.
100%.
Those three things can make such a big difference to a guy.
That's true.
Like, I can guarantee you, if I put pictures of me a year ago versus me now and get them done shot by my friend, like on Tinder, I'll get like 5-10x, and you'll have girls just pouring in. When you've got a good physique,
Yep.
you got a six-pack, you got a nice low body fat physique, girls just swarm for that because you're now in like the top like 5% aesthetically, like physique wise.
Oh yeah.
But when you're like just the normal Joe Schmo, whatever you call him, it's like you don't even exist.
Yeah, there's no point even looking into it.
It's like the only way to get a chick is probably like cold approach. Like with dating apps, you basically don't exist if you don't have a good profile and you don't have good clothing, you don't have good photos, you don't have like the basics bread and butter. You basically aren't going anywhere on a dating app.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me, that's why I kind of don't like dating apps, because it's based on like how you present yourself. Whereas like I prefer a more natural approach, like getting to know them first. Obviously, like, oh, you get attracted physically, and then you go, oh, because it's natural, and then you want to pursue them, and then you get to know them. Like making friends first is how I've always preferred to like get love interests, I guess.
For sure.
Because it just, like, on dating apps, it's so hard to just know who the person is based on their profile. Like the profiles are all so fake, whereas the more natural approach, you get to know them as a person, see where their values lie.
So the profile is the best version of themselves that they're putting forward to you.
Yeah, how realistic is that?
Exactly. So the profile is basically their best sides, their best photo out of 1,000 photos they have. It's the one that's the best.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see the problem with that.
Yeah.
Catfish.
100%. Yeah.
I have had that once where I turned up on a date and I was like, you looked a lot different than in the photos. Like, how old is this photo? You know what I mean?
I get that, yeah.
And with like online dating, it's window shopping.
Yeah.
You literally are window shopping. You are saying, do I like this? And if you like it and they like you, then you can start chatting. But if you don't have something that people like, you can't even chat to these people.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. So, like, what are you after? So, me dating apps is like, you're looking at the profile, you're saying, oh, they're hot. There's lust ticked off. They're like, oh, you got money. There's another thing ticked off, priorities. Hot is like good physique, discipline, and lust. Like, it's just like, lust is always in a category that's ticked off whenever you're on dating apps.
Sex sells.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have a profile, well, if you're sexually appealing, girls are going to choose you. If you're attractive, you've got a good body, your profile's good, got good photos, then you basically will cream the app. Because the majority of people on these apps aren't them.
Yes.
It's people that are half-assing it and not having much luck, getting catfished, all this stuff, where the people at the top, like the top 10% of guys get 90% of the women.
Yeah.
And the bottom 90% of women, the bottom 90% of men are fighting over the 10% of women.
Yes.
So you're literally in real time, if you're like at the bottom, you're fighting over the crumbs. Where if you're at the top, you have so many options. You can literally pick and choose and be like, I want you. You got a sister, but you know how it is? It's so easy. But when you're not at the top and you're at the bottom, it's like you have to have the best chat. You have to be able to like do everything perfectly. When you're at the top, you can mess up. Girls don't care. Oh, he's hot. He's all right.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. If you're talking to two girls, one's super attractive and one's average, you're going to give the more attractive girl more leeway to mess up.
Yes. Of course.
Where the average girl, you're going to be like, oh, she plays up a little bit. Oh, no. Oh.
Not worth it.
And when you've got lots of options, you're just going to be like, oh, see you later.
Yeah. And that's the difference. Like, 10% of guys get 90% of the girls, like you said, whereas 90% of guys are fighting over the last 10%, like the crumbs, like you said. And that's like 90%, that's a lot of guys. So majority of guys are struggling to get that.
For sure.
And
That's why you have to work towards getting to the
Yes.
top 10%.
So guys have to put in a lot of work to get there, whereas most girls,
100%.
for instance, are already in that like high value, high demand kind of area.
Exactly. Girls are born with value. Men have to create it.
Yes,
People hate hearing that.
I know.
But if you think about it logically,
In the relational world, like in the world of sex and relationships and stuff, that's very true.
like you can be working at Starbucks as a chick, and if you're kind of attractive, like a high value man might come in and be like, "Hey, let's go out for coffee. I'll get to know you. I'll date you. Treat you seriously." Where a rich, successful female comes in and a guy's working at Starbucks, she gonna be like, "Make me that coffee. See you later." I don't want like what you want to go on a date with me? Like, no, you work at
Yeah.
Starbucks. Have you ever
Honestly.
seen? I have not. Have you ever seen a successful woman go with like a dropkick?
Nah, not that it lasted anyway.
Yeah, I think sometimes they might try as a project.
Yeah.
Women like to do that
Yeah,
sometimes,
it's tough.
but long term doesn't work out.
Do you know that YouTuber Sniper Wolf?
Heard of the name?
Bro, her ex. Oh my goodness. You have to see a photo of like them two.
Oh, was that the situation where he was super ugly?
So,
Well, not ugly, but he was so average and she was super banging.
He was average and she's hot, yeah.
Damn. And what happened there?
I don't actually know what happened because I didn't keep up. I just knew like that they did, and I was like, oh, that's tough. That's tough for this guy. Like
He's got game.
he's got
something.
somehow he's got game, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just like got reminded of it recently on social media, like how this hot ass chick and this absolutely mid guy, like he's overweight, like messy ass beard hair. With
Did
his,
he have anything else going for him?
I don't even know what he did. I think like they lived together, and I think they lived off her earnings from YouTube and stuff.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he was
good on
winning
him.
for a while, though. Like a couple years, I think.
Yeah.
He was winning, living free.
But long term, it's like, I think in a relationship, a man has to lead. Because if a man's not taking the lead and she's leading, I don't think in a successful relationship it works that well.
Yeah, and I agree. That's biblical too. Like, the man is like head of the household. You know, you're the guy. Like the masculinity thing. Like a big thing now is like, oh, toxic masculinity. Like
Don't get me started on that.
all that. But it's biblical. Like the men are the ones that have to protect and like.
Security.
Yeah,
Security is a
security.
huge thing, and it's not just like protecting them, but it's like financial
Yeah.
security. And if that's provided by a female and the guy's at home doing dishes, I think that's almost like emasculating. It's like taking away
Yeah.
from your masculinity. It's like almost like guys are meant to provide the security
Yeah.
and like provide for the female. When it's kind of reversed, I just don't see it being. I don't see the guy being happy,
Yeah.
and I don't think the girl or the woman will be happy in the long term as well.
Yeah, I
That's my
agree.
personal take on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this toxic masculinity thing where it's like, oh, if a guy leads, oh, who's here? That's okay. We'll leave it. I'm just trying to get my sister out of the frame. Where you going? Wait, where you going? Where you going? Oh yeah, you have to. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Interruptions.
Haram!
That's okay. So we're talking about toxic masculinity and basically anyone saying that a guy, traditional, is bad.
Yes.
I don't agree with that.
I don't
at
agree
all.
either.
I think girls are a lot happier when the guy's providing and the girl's doing whatever she wants to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like it's intimidating to us if a woman makes more money than us
100%.
because then like who knows when she's gonna leave because she's like, well, I make more money than you, so I can just dip.
Like these boss girls,
Yeah.
these boss babes thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm not attracted to that at all. I was talking to Mason about this. They did a study for all these different men of different statuses and dressed them up. One side, McDonald's. Other side,
Yeah, I saw this as well. Yeah.
successful. Girls chose the guy of a higher status. Men didn't care.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really tough. Like that's just the standards that we as men have to live with, and like you don't really see many of us complaining about
yeah,
it either.
that's how it is. It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't hate game. Well, hate the game, not the player. Is that
Yeah.
what's the saying?
Yeah. I hate the player, not the game. I don't know. I think
Playing up the
I
game.
it sounds like that, but it could be.
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. But like the idea is that I'm not complaining.
I'm not
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like if I eat crap food, I sit on my computer and I do nothing with my life, and I expect to have a hot girlfriend,
It's not realistic.
I'm not complaining. I know that if I have to get a high value female, I have to work for that,
Oh,
and
yes.
that's a result of hard work and discipline.
Yeah, and that's life. Like that's the life that we've been given, I guess. And like, I think like feminists. This is controversial as, but I think like those like hardcore as feminists that like kill all men and all this, they're just like
Crazy.
they're just complaining, bro. Like I feel like they're just spoiled. They've been spoiled, and they're like, well, I'm gonna complain now and find everything wrong with a man and complain, and it's just like,
I've been hurt too much by a man, and I'm gonna complain.
yeah,
Where you don't like, I guess some guys complain about girls. I don't agree with that. I just accept. I accept this is the reality, and what can I do to win in this situation?
yeah. And the thing is, like, complaining isn't gonna do anything. Like complaining, yeah, some people might agree, but like, if you're not actually doing something for yourself, like, what's gonna change? You can only change yourself. You can't really change anyone else.
Complaining is just, it's pointless.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a solution, and it's a fair solution and it's a rational solution, then complaining is just wasting oxygen.
Oh yeah.
Like I can complain about XYZ, but it's like, what is that going to do? I could complain, well, 5% of guys on dating apps are completely killing it and getting all the hot chicks. What's that going to do? Nothing. If I'm like, okay, how can I actually solve this? I need to go to the gym. I need to eat healthy.
Exactly.
I need to start working more hours at my job. I need to save more money. I need to get a new car. This. Or I can complain.
Yeah.
What's going to be more beneficial?
Definitely like work on yourself.
Exactly.
That's what like most men do as well. Like rather than just sit there and complain, they tend to try and work on themselves. You know, over the past year, there's been like a massive influx, like increase of men going to the gym. Like it's almost become a trend. Like that guys get ripped. And I think it's epic.
I think it's epic
I
as
think
well.
it's epic. Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, I think a big thing now is Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think this alpha male, top G energy, which has been like, it has completely saturated social media. And whereas now, like, I want to be a top G, I want to be ripped, I want to be able to fight, I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Guys are starting to be like, oh, instead of getting told I can be a wuss, I can be super sensitive, I can do all this stuff, which there are there are times to be maybe a bit sensitive. I don't know. I think most of the time you shouldn't be. But a guy coming in, like, be top G, provide, go to the gym, do press ups. I don't care how you feel, do press ups. Be able to protect your girl. Learn like some martial arts or boxing or something like that. Guys are fed up with getting told to be sensitive and all this stuff, and are like, well, I'd rather be able to fight and be a dangerous man,
Yeah.
not have to hurt people or anything crazy like that, but have the potential to defend yourself or your woman if you had to, rather than being that guy who would run away and leave her.
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned something about Jordan Peterson before. And I think like another thing he said is like the guy that's like really dangerous is the guy that's able to control his like anger if he has the ability to fight or like beat someone up. If he has the ability to control like his anger and not like use it whenever he wants to beat people up, that's the real dangerous guy.
Yeah, so I was talking to you about that as at work. So what I was saying is the guy who has the potential, he doesn't actually have to use it.
Yeah.
People can just see it. I'm not going to mess with this guy. He's the dangerous guy. Most of the time, people don't even mess with them. Because you can just feel the energy. This guy is someone you don't mess with.
Yeah.
Where if you just look like a pushover, people are going to try test you. It's like bullying. If you're strong, firm, you don't put up with anything, and strong body, strong mind, people aren't probably going to pick on you.
It's true.
If you're a wuss and people do pick on you and you don't stand up for yourself, they're gonna keep doing it.
For sure.
So you want to be strong, and you don't want people to fear you so much where it's like, oh, this guy is gonna do something to me, but like this guy has the potential to do some damage if he has to.
Yeah.
He can throw some
Yeah,
hooks,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, left, right, good night.
Yeah, I
you
get
know?
that. Yeah,
Having that potential is important.
it's true.
That you can do that. If you have to flick a switch, someone jumps your chick, or is trying to jump you, you have to be able to go up and defend, let your girl run away.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were on a date and you're walking down an alley and then some guy comes out. Are you gonna just run away and leave your chick there?
Bro, that's like the lamest thing you could possibly do.
Exactly. But you could say, some feminists will say, oh, I'll fight them. And when it actually comes to the situation, I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
And if it does happen, normally doesn't end too well. Like, even a 12-year-old kid could do some pretty big damage to a grown female adult.
yeah,
Like, just a male with all the testosterone, they can kind of just go crazy. Go Niles Barkley.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, like, a chick saying, like, I can do, taekwondo, all this stuff. It's like, cool, you might be able to. But all it takes is one punch in the face and you're, like, out of it and you're gone.
yeah, like it's just the natural difference in our physiques and the way that
Exactly.
like we can, like the strength we have over women is just a thing that is there, and like it's a fact that men are naturally stronger and more powerful than women.
Exactly. On average, the man is stronger than a woman.
On average, obviously you get those like bums that are twigs that like you can snap their wrist with one finger, like
Yeah.
some of those dudes that are actually just puny, like those are exceptions. But like the average guy is stronger than the average one,
For sure. Like, exceptions don't disprove the rule,
like you said before.
like I said before. Okay, so what else did they talk about? We've hit on quite a lot.
We have, yeah.
Andrew Tate, thoughts?
There's a lot of things I don't agree with Andrew Tate. Basically just his like objectifying of women. But there's also a lot of things that I do agree with. Although overall, I think there is he is having like a massive, massive impact on society, especially with like younger people, like teenagers into 20s.
Positive or negative in general? Like, net positive, net negative.
I think when it comes to like men finding their traditional and masculinity and not hiding away under the oppression of women, that's like the positive thing that it has. But I also think there's a big negative that he sets out, like what I mentioned before, objectifying women and not seeing their worth. Because he's like, I can't remember the exact quote, but like it was just, if she didn't do exactly what he wanted, like gone, you know?
I'll be like the devil's advocate. I'll be the guy who just obviously he's not here to.
Yeah.
We-
No, that's
we
fair.
need a lot more subscribers to do that. But the thing is, I think I think his explanation for that is, if I'm treating a girl, I'm taking her out to dinner, treating her like a queen and princess, and she can't even do some dishes for me, then she just has to go.
I get that. I agree with that, yeah.
There's a lot of things where people have like cut up a specific point that he says
Yes.
and then cuts it up to make it sound like he objectifies women. Like, a lot of the women that he's dated and been with in the past, very attractive, beautiful women,
Yes.
don't have anything bad to say about him.
Mm.
It's all these ugly chicks that are complaining.
Yeah. I get that. And the thing is, like, what you mentioned, like, if the relationship isn't 50-50, I believe relationships meant to be 50-50 from either side, men and women. Men provide this one thing, support, protection. Women provide other things.
For sure.
Like, if you're not getting back what you're putting in, it doesn't have to be the same way. You know, if you're not receiving back, like, the amount of energy you're putting in, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. Because I think I definitely, there's things he said where I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. But a lot of the things he says as a rich multi-millionaire guy, it's like, if I'm doing all this stuff for you, there's not many ways for you to impress me,
Yeah.
right? So by making me a coffee and, you know, doing some dishes, when I'm treating you like a queen, you're going out to like expensive restaurants, spending 5 Gs in a dining
Yeah.
setting, going on private jets and all this stuff, and you can't even do the dishes. It's like, is that equal?
No.
If I'm whining and dining and treating you like a princess or a queen, and what are you doing for me? You can't even do the dishes.
Yeah.
And it's not in a way where it's like objectifying or like being demeaning, but it's like he could hire someone to do all that. Piece of cake. It's just it's what it shows.
Yeah, it's like it also shows again like what does she want from you? Is she with you just for what you can give, or is she with you to love you and to care for you? Because like I believe love is like serving each other.
And
And
sacrifice.
sacrifice, yeah. And like if you can't even serve each other, like do stuff for each other out of love, and you're just sitting there constantly like taking and taking and taking and taking, like what are you actually there for? Do you love him, or like do you just want what he has?
Gold digging.
Yeah.
But he's not stupid.
I agree.
And I think that's why he's like, if you are going to not cook me dinner or make me coffee, then see ya.
Yeah.
But I agree, there are situations where I'm like, okay, I don't agree with what he's saying here. But as a net, like everything he says, I would say has a net positive effect. Like with the traditional male,
Yes.
become a man, none of this soy boy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Start doing press ups.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Over the past few years, there's been quite like a change in like a lot of the male presence on social media. Like a few years ago, I just remember Instagram, all over Instagram was like femboys and like maid boys, and I was like, this is horrific. How is this the thing that's big with men nowadays?
And I think that's why he actually got cancelled, because it was like there's been this big shift, and then someone like that comes in, and it's like what the general, like the high ups, you know, if you believe that like there's this new world order or there's almost like mass programming type of a thing, it's like they don't want someone like Tate coming in saying, hey, look, be a man. Because if you're a man, you're not going to put up with all this bullcrap that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, yeah. Well, I agree with that. He is definitely he has a big impact.
He's got a big
impact, yeah.
And they tried to cancel him, and it didn't work too well.
Didn't work.
Like, it worked for the start, I reckoned.
Mm.
Like, when he first, like, was gone, he kind of, like, disappeared. He was still, like, there, but now he's starting to, like, gain traction again.
Yeah, he found other means to make it on like the internet.
Exactly, he went on another
Other
like,
podcasts.
Rumble. Yeah. So I think he kind of, like, got deleted, and then he kind of came back.
Yeah.
Or is coming back even almost stronger than before. It'll be quite interesting to see what happens in the next year in that space.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's still going to be a lot of changes that will happen because of his presence on the.
Even if he does somehow just disappear,
Yeah,
it's like there's still going to be a lot of not impersonators, but people that believe in the cause.
yeah, he's made a lasting impact already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
It was good to have you, man.
Yes,
It
bro.
was nice to have you on the podcast. Quite insightful things you said.
yeah.
And thanks for sharing all your stuff. Like, that's crazy.
No
All
problem.
the stuff you've been through. But like looking at you now, I'm like, yo, the man.
Cheers, bro.
Just need to get a new car.
Yeah, hey, the
Well,
Vitz.
no, I'm joking. But like, plans for this year, goals.
goals.
go.
I want to get like a routine, like get the work routine, the gym routine, start eating better. I kind of just want to like focus on myself, like I said, finances, physique, and I want to get more like hobbies. I want to get into other things other than gaming because that's boring.
Some social things would be quite a
Yeah.
positive thing, like
Yeah,
group sport or something where you're interacting with other people.
yeah. I think like
Be
group
quite positive
sports,
as well.
sports something that I kind of want to get into because I've got like I'm tall, so I want to maybe get into volleyball or something. 'Cause I used to do volleyball. It's fun as.
basketball, whatever you want. Just do something.
Something,
mate.
yeah.
Last thing before we end it, you haven't actually been in a relationship, and getting into a relationship, the first one is like the most damaging, crazy thing ever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do to protect yourself when you go into that situation?
Well, I don't know exactly. I just probably, like, based off what I've learnt now, I know that, like, there are methods that I can use. I can't put a finger on it because I don't know the circumstances, but I do know that, like, I'm going to be more cautious when coming into, like, relationship with girls, whereas I'm not going to be committing until I know that it's something I can commit to safely. You know, you can do the half commit and feel it out for a while.
Yeah, you can like date, but not actually be in a relationship.
Yes.
Like exclusive, but you're not actually dating.
Yes, like that's where I was before, with that girl. So
Before she chose to.
go back with
Get
ex, yeah.
Haram!
Yeah. Virtually, not virtually, mutually exclusive. Until we weren't. Yeah,
Mutually exclusive until.
we weren't.
Did she give you a heads up?
Basically, like, she didn't talk to this guy for a long time. Like months. The months that we were getting closer, she didn't talk to him. And then, like, he had some medical thing that happened. And then he messaged her the first time in months. And then, after that, like, he had, like, a near-death kind of thing. And then she realized, oh, he means a lot more than I thought. And I was like, oh, well. Had a good few months, but, like, later, bro.
Yeah, that's not easy.
No. I mean, it was easier than I thought it would. Like, I agree with, like, what my mate said. I thought I was going to go real low, but instead I was just like, can't help it, not my fault.
I think as a man, the first relationship can do a lot of damage. You have to be quite cautious.
Yes.
Because I've had friends who have been in the first relationship and it didn't work out and it blew up big time.
Yeah.
Definitely if you're dating a girl who's promiscuous, that can do so much damage.
I agree.
Because you can date someone and then break up.
Yeah.
And a week later, she's with another guy. And that does a lot of damage
It does, yeah.
compared to dating a Christian girl. And she goes on her way for 3 months and goes to some Bible school. And you work on yourself. There's so much more time to heal compared to. I've dated this girl. We broke up. She's seeing another guy.
It's damaging. It really is.
So watch out for that.
One thing I
Don't get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision. It does big damage.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that's it.
Cool.
That's it.
Sounds great.